Hello everyone, welcome back. I know this is probably getting a little bit boring, so I want to let you guys in on something. We're planning to do a Zoom meeting this week. It'll be Sunday night at 7 o'clock. So if you guys want to be a part of that, please let me know. Send me your emails. That way I can send you the link and you guys can be a part of that. The student leaders are helping me put this together, so this is something that you're not going to want to miss. We're going to spend a little bit of time in worship and song, and then we're also going to do a game and maybe just a little bit of small group time. So please send me your emails so I can send you the link so you can be a part of this. Hopefully it'll be fun and we'll enjoy it. Maybe we'll do it again. But for this week, what we're going to have is we have a special guest coming up to kick things off, and then we're going to jump right into the lesson for this week. This week's lesson is on coveting versus contentment, and then of course we'll end with the giveaway. So I hope you guys stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy this video.
So everyone always asks me what I do in the office all day. So I thought for this video I would show you a little bit what I've been up to here in the office during quarantine. Hope you enjoy. Got any kings?
Nope. Go fish.
Ah!
You got any kings?
Nope.
Go fish.
One, two, three. Oh, that was a good one. Whee! Cole, are you done yet?
No.
Are you done yet?
No.
Are you done yet?
I'll tell you when I'm done.
Hello, Temple Hill Baptist Church. This is Becky. Can I help you?
Yes. Is your fridge running?
Yes, it is.
Then maybe you should go catch it.
Pastor Andy.
Please take the wheel. Give me one more chance. Taco Bell. Well, hopefully you know that that's not everything that I actually do here on a regular basis. Although Brent and I have had some fun making all these videos for you guys. But I wanted to take a moment and just encourage you, say hi, let you know that we missed you, and give you this little challenge briefly from God's Word. So Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24 and 25 says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." And a lot of times we think of these verses as reasons that we do come to church, but I want to remind you that the church is not a building, it's people. And that even though we can't meet at this time, these are still things that we can do to minister and to encourage one another. We can still encourage one another to love and good works. We can still encourage people by calling them and checking in and challenging them in their walk with God. So I encourage you, as you're stuck at home and wondering what to do, don't just settle for the video games, don't just settle for listening to music, but reach out, connect with somebody, and encourage them in their walk with Christ. Can't wait to see all of you again. Praying for you all.
Hey guys, welcome back to our mini-series on attitude. This week we're going to be focusing on coveting and contentment. I probably don't have to tell you guys what coveting means, so I'm going to go ahead and start off talking about why it is wrong. But before we do that, Cole, can you change this background, because I'm kind of tired of this one. I don't really like it. So if you could change it to something that makes it look like, like I have a lot of money or something. So, oh, perfect. That's great. All right. So in case you guys didn't catch that, I was trying to give you just a quick little example of coveting, right? Wanting something that is not necessary. or that is wrong. I want it to look like I had a lot of money because I thought, it'll make me look good. But it can also be wanting good things for the wrong reasons, like wanting to be a spiritual leader. You can want to be a spiritual leader, and that is a good thing. If we look at 1 Timothy 3, 1-7, it says in there, if you desire this, it is a good thing. But what if it's for the reason that you want to feel like you have power over someone, power over others, or that people have to come to you for you to fix their problems? Then it's probably the wrong reason that you want that. Or what about wanting the right things at the wrong time? There are plenty of examples for this. Sometimes we just have to wait to be able to get things and receive things. So we have to learn to be patient too. Lastly, it could be wanting things in the wrong amount, like money. We all need money to live, but when is enough when it comes to money? So those are just some things when it comes to coveting. So I hope you can see that this is an attitude that we all need to change. I even struggle with some of these when it comes to contentment. So I just need to learn how to be content with where God has me, what God has given me. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So again, we're going to go back to the wilderness. So Cole, if you can just bring us to the wilderness here. So if you guys want, you can go ahead and get your Bibles, turn to Numbers 11. That's where we're going to be looking at this account with the Israelites again in the wilderness. We find God's people in Numbers 11:4, coveting. It says, now the mixed multitude who were among them yielded to intense cravings. So the children of Israel also wept again and said, who will give us meat? It says they were craving. That means they wanted something really bad. I think back to when my mom was pregnant with one of my siblings, and she had cravings. Some of the cravings she had was things like chocolate or like a salty snack. Now these cravings were not satisfied until she got, the chocolate or the snack, it kind of, it's not the same, but it kind of helps us understand a little bit about a craving. So what the Israelites were craving was meat, right? They wanted meat. They were looking for something other than what they had to make them happy. So I understand that all of us see things, and we wish we had them, knowing that we probably will never get them. So the question is, when is it a sin? When it becomes a sin is when we yield to it. When we tell ourselves, I'm going to get this because this is what's going to make me happy. I'm not talking like buying a candy bar or something like that. I'm talking about other things, but we need to learn not to covet. Let's look at Romans 8:5, and this will help us understand it just a little bit better. It says, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, things of the Spirit. So what we need to do is we need to set our mind on things of Jesus. So back to the wilderness, where you find the Israelites. They were thinking back to when they were in Egypt, talking about the fish that they had there, the melons that they had there. Their mouths were watering, right? They wanted what they had before. That's when they lost thankfulness for what God had given them, the manna, right? The bread from heaven. I don't know about you guys, but I really like bread. I kind of hope that when we get to heaven that God's going to make us some of that bread, some of that manna, and I can just take a little bit of strawberry jam and make myself a sandwich. I'm kind of hoping that happens, but I'm not counting on it. But anyway, sorry, back to the lesson. So they were actually crying because they didn't get what they wanted from God. So it was kind of like a bunch of babies. They were crying because they wanted something. It was kind of pretty sad if you ask me. But the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly, and Moses was displeased, says in verse 10. You see, the root of covetousness is the rejection of God's sufficiency. So that's why God hates it. He hated it then, and he hates it now. So we must change our attitudes and open our eyes and see all that God has given us in this time. We must come to a place where we say, Lord, all I want is you. All I want is your joy, your peace, your fullness, your friendship, and that is enough for me. That is where we need to come to a content place in our lives. So back to the story, God gave them what they wanted, but it wasn't what they wanted in the end. If we look at verses 18 through 20, if you go down on 18 just a little bit, it says, therefore the Lord will give you meat and you shall eat. You shall eat not just 1 day or 2 days, so on and so forth, but a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes loathsome to you. You see, we need to be careful not to do this. God gave us the Bible to remind us of these things, and so that we don't do the same, right? God still hates it when we are coveting, when we want something we don't have. God will punish it too. So God sent the quail, and they gathered them, but I don't want us to forget what happened. So look at verse 33. It says, while the meat was still between their teeth, before it was chewed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord struck the people with a severe plague. You see, this is serious. This is something we need to change. We need to change our attitudes. So let's start with an attitude of contentment, okay? So real quick, I want to read 1 Timothy 6, 6 through 10. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and we can take nothing out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But with those who desire to be rich, fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. It says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And it goes on a little further, but we need to be content with what we have. This verse tells us that we came into the world with nothing. What we have, God has provided for us. We need to be content with that. And it says, that the love of money is the root of all evil. It just tells us other things about coveting. It leads to destruction. So contentment is not just a nice word. What does contentment mean? It means a satisfaction with God's sufficient provision. Kind of a tongue twister there for me, sorry. So satisfied meaning you don't want anything else. I know that really goes against our culture, but it's about being able to be happy with what we have. I really like the sound of that. And I think you guys will probably agree. A lot of us, would say, I'd love to be happy with what I have as soon as I get this or that. It's hard for us to be content. But if we look back to the verse, contentment has a partner. It's called godliness, right? Think of it like this. We should never be content with who we are, but with what we have. By that I mean we should strive to be more like Christ every day and be satisfied with what he has provided for us. You asked me, what if he doesn't provide me with enough? I want you guys to look at Matthew 6:26, where it says, look at the birds of the air. Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valued than they? This is a great verse that reminds us how much God cares for us. It also makes me think of the Christian artist Jason Gray's song Sparrows, where he talks about God taking care of us. So if you guys like math, you can almost think of it like a math problem. So godliness plus contentment equals great gain. We need to find our identity in God's goodness and then be content with what he has provided for us. We can try other things. We can try godliness plus money. We can try godliness plus power or influence. We can try godliness plus family harmony. We can even try godliness plus ministry, but it doesn't add up. Contentment is the key. We have to, those other things, they're not bad. You can have them, but contentment is what we have to work for. If we chase after those other things and leave contentment behind, we only distance ourselves from God and his plan. Paul puts it simply in 1 Timothy 6:8. He says, if we have food and covering, with these we shall be content. So not to say that if you don't have those things we should complain, or that if you have more you're wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all, but showing us that we need to be content with the things that we may take for granted every day. Just being able to say, I have enough and the Lord has provided for me. Now, I'm not going to get into all the things that we have problems with when it comes to contentment and coveting. I want God to convict your hearts about that. I want him to show you, things that you need to change in your life. But I do have some questions for you. So question number one, am I a content person? If not, I need to seek a lifestyle again, it's a choice, just like thankfulness. We need to understand that more doesn't mean happier. Number 2, am I seeing the blessings of contentment in my life? Are we able to say, I have enough? God has given me more than I need already. And then it's the godliness plus contentment equals great gain, okay? Number 3, am I choosing contentment over coveting? Moment by moment, day by day. Just kind of like thankfulness. This is the day-by-day choice. I'm going to read a couple verses. First is Psalms 62:10. If riches increase, do not set your heart upon them. And then Philippians 4:11. I have learned to be content in whatever circumstance I am. So it's easy to be content when we have a lot, but what about when we have little? We need to strive to be content 100% of the time, no matter what we have or don't have. That's all I have for you guys this week, but I hope you guys can strive to be content this week with what you have, and just look for those things that God has given you. Thanks again for watching this video, but before we end this part of the video, Kevin Proctor had asked me if I could just pray for a project that they're working on at the moment on the video. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm also gonna take the opportunity to pray for you guys at this time as well. So if you'll bow with me in prayer. Lord, I just thank you for today. Lord, I thank you for everything you've done. Lord, I just pray that you will be with our students here at THBC. Lord, I pray that you will just help them with a heart of contentment. Lord, that they will see all that you have provided for them and given them. And Lord, I just pray that you will continue to bless them and that they will be able to glorify you in their life. Lord, I pray for Kevin and his family's project on the pole barn. Lord, I pray that this place will turn out nice, Lord, but it'll also be a place that can turn into a tool that is used for your glory, Lord, a place where people can meet and that they can talk about you and just encourage each other in their relationship, Lord. Lord, I pray all these things in your Son's holy name, and amen. Hey, bet you didn't know I could ride a unicycle! Woo! Alright, so for this week's drawing, I got it on the wheel. But first, we have to get ready. For this week's giveaway, we gotta spin that wheel. Wonder who it's gonna be. Might be Brady. Probably not. And the winner is Caleb. Caleb Hookwater. You are winner number 1. You get a gift card to Amazon. Woo! We got 2 more prizes, or another prize, just not 2 more, just 1. Let's see who gets this one. Michaela Brockema, you are winner of the bag of Tootsie Rolls. Woo! All right. So that was for sending in what you guys were thankful about. So for this week, what we got another bag of Tootsie Rolls, and of course we got this here surprise package. You may ask what's in it. Well, I ain't gonna tell you because this is a surprise. So if you want to know, you guys got to send in something that you've done for somebody else, just something that you've been able to do during this time to be able to serve others. That's what I'm looking for. So go ahead and shoot me those by text message, Facebook, email. You can even call me if you want, but you got to send those in. So you got 2 more chances, another bag of Tootsie Rolls and a surprise package. You guys are going to love what's in it. So also don't forget to email me your email or text me your email or whatever for the Zoom meeting. So that'll be this Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Hope to see you then. See ya.
Okay. No. What do we got to send them off with? Do the honors!